Hey guys, it's Jen. I just wanted to say what's up. Happy Memorial Day to everyone who celebrates and to all the heroes, servicemen and women who have gone before and are still going today, pursuing freedom in whatever way they deem necessary to do so. So, much respect and gratitude to you and to me. I do it in my own way, sometimes with prophecy and mostly with just speaking the truth. And there's some things that I wanted to just get off my chest today, and that has a lot to do with perception. And when you are pursuing things just based on what is right and good and would benefit all, and you are in complete sacrifice of yourself and comforts and conveniences and luxuries and even others. Not everyone's going to agree with what you say, but regardless, truth is truth, and that's how I roll. I speak the truth, and a lot of times what that does is it'll hold up a mirror to someone and they don't like the reflection that they're looking at, but it's not me, let's say, in particular. Let's say if somebody bought something to wear and it was a little too revealing or too slutty or whatever, I would be like, an honest response like, I don't really think it suits you, or maybe you could try something else that more compliments you or something like that. But I'm never going to just tell somebody what they want to hear and, oh yeah, you look great, and then they go out and get laughed at or something, because then it's like it's on you. So I get a lot of flack in the community with my family. I've been ostracized by them. I really don't have any friends or companions or anything like that, because I always have, well, some of you may know that when I was very young, my IQ was tested and I was under a lot of scrutiny and experimentation and testing and academic tutors and psychotherapists and a whole plethora of testing by the time I was 12 years old. And it was determined that I had a genius level IQ, so not above average, not gifted, but genius. So, you know, I I've never been understood in life because I don't like to put myself on a pedestal. I don't like self-glorification or acting like I'm so self-righteous and holier than thou and all. I'm not. I mean, come on, let's be real. I'm not a saint. But I try to just be a good person, helpful, considerate, volunteer, friendly, kind, generous, supportive, encouraging, empathetic, the characteristics and traits of Christ, which are kindness, love, compassion, giving, helping, caring, healing, teaching, things like that. So when you are someone who, let's say that the mainstream or the herd or the general or the masses or the average is working here, but you're working at a capacity here, and then some are working at a capacity here. It doesn't mean that anybody's better or worse or equal. It's just different, all different, okay? So when you're dealing with general masses, like 90 some percent of the population here, and you're here, you're never going to see eye to eye. It's just never going to work. So I've been always misguided, misrepresented, misjudged, mistreated, misunderstood, ostracized, demonized, criticized, crucified, tortured, abused, deceived, used, I mean, you name it, it's happened to me. So, starting as a young child, not really having a childhood, spending your whole childhood taking tests and performing and competitions and all these things and study. It's like constant data, constant, and you're not gonna act like everyone else or look like everyone else or speak like everyone else, because you're different, just like everyone else. And I've never had anyone really at the same level that can keep up. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or offensive or anything, just speaking the truth. And usually when I speak, sometimes it'll be really scientific, it'll be medical, it'll be maybe different languages, maybe analogies, metaphors, parables, prophecy, quotes. I use lyrics, just different things, or quotes from books and of the great teachers that have gone before. So now I was privy to both a public school and a private school education, and I did see the difference there. And the ones in my generation, some of us refer to ourselves as Generation X, which is the rebel generation, the pioneers, the freaks, the outcasts, the misfits, whatever. We were born in the 70s, and then come the 90s, you saw like the punk and the industrial and rock and tattoos and piercings and just, dressing different, being different. We were not going to be like the rest of the herd. And a lot of us remained activists in some semblance of that term. And I know, having made it 4.2 decades in this game of life, that I have one thing that qualifies me and merits, and I have merited the ability to be able to speak on different topics, is because I have the life experience to back it up. So one of the things that we are rebels, and I know I've always got, a surprise. Let's just say no one ever knows what to really expect with me, and I like it that way. I like to keep people on their toes, and I never really like people to know what's coming next. And it's not that I'm going to deceive anyone or have an ulterior motive or do something sneaky or whatever. It's just that when you keep the attention, then people are more apt to listen. So, in order to experience things in life, I had to try things in life. So I'm talking failed relationships, motherhood, being in a Catholic family, having a military family, living in the South in Florida, and now living in the North in Pennsylvania, and loss of a child, and drugs, alcohol, prostitution, the game, the streets, homelessness, and then dealing with these broken and failing institutions and sects of government and education systems that are failing, and everything's always about this, more and more of this, and instant gratification and luxury and convenience. And it's at the cost of someone else or something else. For instance, these big corporations polluting the airways and the waterways. Well, that's harming the environment, harming animals, and like politicians, let's say, bureaucrats, CEOs, corporate bigwigs, monarchs, aristocrats, oligarchs, clergy. You've got people that talk a good game, and then behind the scenes, they're living a totally different life, or they have no clue what they're even speaking about. It's like a doctor who is treating someone for anxiety, and they've never experienced anxiety a day in their life. They just dole out the prescription, cha-ching, cha-ching, and they don't understand the ins and outs. So for someone like me that has been misunderstood and been labeled bipolar, schizophrenic, I was on psychiatric medications since the age of 15 years old. There is not one antipsychotic, antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication that I have not been on. Okay. And like I said, just dealing with these things, what I really like to do as of late now currently is, since I have been battling homelessness and custody of my children and abuse and being a faceless, nameless, voiceless, opinionless, feelingless person in the community as per society's standards, mind you. I would love to have like a live thing. This is kind of why I got in with the local radio station, because I've been really praying and setting my intent and meditating and manifesting a platform and a voice to reach a larger audience about truth. And without, being in the community and, oh, you need treatment, you should be locked up. I mean, I've been in mental wards and, I mean, you name it, jail. There's nothing I haven't been through. Nothing. So, with that being said, you've got these politicians, let's say, well, we need to clean up our environment, and then they're building pipelines. In the brainiac community, what do we always say? It's not rocket science. And this time, it's really not. There are simple things, simple fixes. If you bring things down to a nuclear, atomic, root core level and nip problems in the bud before they ever have a chance to sprout and bloom, you're going to save a whole lot of problems by never letting it happen in the first place. For instance, my kids, my sons, I have 3 amazing sons, ages 20, 17, and 14. And those of you who know my kids, they're awesome. They're awesome guys. I mean, they're just amazing, gifted, beautiful, kind-hearted, empathetic, considerate, compassionate people. And I raised them that way. So, for instance, when they misbehaved, when they were children, let's say my son was 8 years old, I would have him stand in the corner, no devices, no TV. Well, back then, I would never have let my kids have cell phones or anything anyways. But, no TV, no toys, blah, blah, blah. So they would stand in the corner for 1 minute per each year of their age. So if one of them was 8, they stood in the corner for 8 minutes. That gave them time quietly to think about what they did. And I would explain that. Go ahead in the corner and think about what you did. And then when you come out, we'll talk about it. So the 8 minutes are up. They come out, sit down, or I go down to their level. I don't ever tower over my kid. And, so I would say to him, okay, well, do you know why mom got upset with that? Yeah, da 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 da. Okay, well, what can you do the next time to make a better choice? Well, I could, blah, 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 blah. And that's how you learn. And I mean, if I was a parent that had beat my children or said, you're stupid, you're a dummy, and I can't believe how, that, it traumatizes a child, okay? Words, like the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's a lie. Actually, verbal attacks are more traumatic, in my opinion, than even physical trauma. I have scars from head to toe, and a missing tooth, and I've had upwards of $20,000 worth of dental work in my lifetime, and I gotta sit here like that, and and people don't understand when you have things that are wrong with you, let's say a neurological or physiological disorder like I do. You may twitch, or some kids, that are autistic, or they may swing or be a little Rain Man-ish or whatever. Or like Einstein with the messy hair all the time, and the man didn't even wear socks because he said it's a waste of time. They're either going to get holes and they're stupid anyways. Like, I get it. So I don't, I'm not about glorifying myself. I don't want,